It all started in those cursed Azov lands. The mission progress had reached 99%. The scene opens with our winged girl getting tossed back like a fly. He lands so gracefully it's like he's dancing, but the curses in his head are anything but graceful. That expected bastard was still nowhere to be found. At this rate, victory would be a dream. Ember owns this place. It roars as if swearing to grill everyone that day. The crazy guy is shouting that you're all going to burn to ashes. No one could have survived that hellfire. Just as our fairy thought it was all over, a divine shield appeared before her. Sato, a level 96 healer, is acting tough and telling me to stop treating her like a baby. The girl gets fired up and lunges forward again. Their only goal is to survive until that mysterious savior arrives. With him is the legendary Heian Naitomi, rank 3rd on the server, no joke. The lady boss is looking to land a punch like an Ottoman slap. But the monster's grinning as if to say, "All your efforts are in vain, honey." Exploding his combo on the shield. Look at this. The damage numbers overlap just like in an Atari game. What a visual feast. But it seems like it was just a fly's buzz to him, because our girl is being sent flying to the other side of the map again. At that very moment, he desperately calls for that nameless hero. And the moment we've been waiting for. That mysterious figure is right behind the boss. He says, "Trust me." But where did that shot go? It hit your boss in a very private, even embarrassing spot. The guy must have hurt a lot of people, he says, smirking as he fades into the shadows. He's such a troll. But the boss shows up in a split second, showing off and saying your speed is like a turtle compared to mine. And he delivers the fatal blow. As those on the ground call out to their comrades, the sound of scraping metal and something breaking echoes in the air. One sword stops the bosses. Ours says with a grin, "I've finally arrived." The world's toughest man, the King of Kings, has finally arrived on stage. The handsome blonde shows off his charisma, saying, "Sorry, some trash on the road held me up a bit." Presenting Kamara Shizuya. The god of top-tier psycho host is right here in person. The boss attacks sneakily from behind, but our guy turns and blocks it as if he has eyes in the back of his head. And the place turns into a madhouse. A total beatdown is about to begin. Fists are flying in the air. The guy is tanking, squeezing in heels, and messing with the boss using gravity spells. Kamara is showing off, saying he finishes this in 3 seconds. A massive golden lion appears in the sky. The visual effects are through the roof. Looks like the lion's coming down right on the boss's head. Dust and smoke everywhere, things are blowing up. But wait, the target wasn't the head. Turns out the guy opened a crater in the boss's chest like a highway tunnel. He literally ripped his heart out. And yes, that Mapo Tofu guy with the ridiculous name finished the job in record time. The sky is clearing up and everyone's just stunned because he one-shot it. The ninja Nishi over there jumps right in. He's trying to take credit, saying they'd never win if it weren't for my perfectly timed sneaky mistake. Shipasi watches silently. He thinks to himself that this isn't just item power, it's a whole other level of madness. The man's game IQ and judgment are on another level. It looked like an easy victory, but that wasn't the case. Creating that opening could only be the work of someone who rules the system, the Matrix. They don't call him the king of open work for nothing. Right at that moment, a notification flashes on the screen. They've completed all 100 achievements and earned the platinum trophy. Everything worth taking is gone, no content left to exploit. For him, the end credits are about to roll. But oops. Suddenly, a secret maniacal final achievement appears. Absolute knowledge and absolute power. Even the name is chilling. To unlock this, you must be that chosen one who completes everything first on all servers. Right then, a curse timer appears on your screen. It says the servers will shut down in 5 seconds and there will be maintenance when they return. 5 seconds? Are you kidding me? You can't even take a breath in 5 seconds, but people are all hyped up because a new expansion is coming. As for Kamara, he's acting all melancholic. His only concern is seeing his friends again. But 5 whole days pass and there's not a word from the game. That legendary game taking the world by storm has vanished without a trace. Kamara is furious because she was kicked out of the system before she could even find out what that final prize was. The internet is mourning, and everyone's online crying. Give us back our game. On a subway car, our hero sits slumped, gloomily scrolling through the comments. Then someone says, "Look at this declaration of war." He clicks and a streamer girl shouts that she found something nasty about Azure servers. This matter involves the Mapo Tofu Guild. Looks like the task completion rate is at 100%. Math is crying right now. This is a clear indicator of cheating. The girl wants guild leader Kamara Shizuya to come out and explain this nonsense. Ours is stuck by the window like an idiot. He's wondering if that last achievement caused a bug, but his mind is all scrambled. Right then, the people on the train start shouting, "What the hell is that?" When he looked up, a massive, ominous portal had opened in the middle of the carriage. Whoa! There you go, the classic omniscient reader intro, the ultimate cliché. Something terrible is taking shape inside, strange digital tattoos appearing on his body. The train jolts with a piercing screech of brakes. Passengers are being tossed around like bowling pins. And in a second, a sword stroke cuts through the air. The fountain of blood paints the place red. Ours is still in. What the hell is going on? Mode as an armored knight steps through the splitting wall. Good grief, what is this now? Calm down, Game Master. What's the rush? Even our Sung Jinwoo is like this. He would have faced the nonsense after at least 10 episodes. What's more, it's not just one enemy. A whole army is swarming the train. Everyone's running for their lives, but the creatures are already on them. Do you think those poor passengers stand any chance of surviving this chaos? Look at those swords, they're bigger than them. Oh no, I think they've set their sights on that cute girl on the train. And the poor girl was split right down the middle like a watermelon. So what's our wimpy hero up to? Where's that cool entrance everyone expected? Unfortunately, his eyes are wide open, just staring. Pull yourself together, son. While you're trying to grasp the situation, Azrael's scythe has already swung your way. He dodges the strike by pure luck, just because he's seen a similar technique before. The creature has already cleared the portal, somersaulting through the air. Easy there, champ. You know what the worst part is? The monster is using the same technique as ours. The secret to surviving this attack is to fearlessly jump in and slide under it. As the creature towers over him, he realizes the bitter truth. Kamahata Shizuya is just a level 1 classless rookie, but he holds the title of omniscient and absolute power. His opponent is a level 35 commander, using the lion/move. Leaving the worm territory, there's only one question on your mind. What's the shortest way out of here? He knows full well he's in what's called the worm dungeon in the game. The main problem is the monster's locked onto him. The moment that giant thing shows up, he'll have to run for his life again. But our boy doesn't stand a chance. How can a level 1 loser win against a level 35 god? Still, she says she strangely forgot she was in the real world at that moment. That a single mistake will cost you your life. The brain just can't process it. On the contrary, he wants to turn this fatal situation into an opportunity. And he says he hasn't played in a while. A while was only 5 days, he's just a hopeless gaming addict. Right as the monster is about to strike, it says, "It's a pity." And the game is over. The worm suddenly lunges and swallows the creature in one bite. Turns out he knew the exact timing of the worm's appearance, second by second. At least that's how it looks from the outside. He says he gambled and won, all smugly. Curious about his friends, he takes out his phone. Sirens are wailing everywhere, but the battery's only at 8%. To make matters worse, another swarm of level 30 creatures is heading your way. Our guys take off immediately, of course. Luckily, the game is generous enough to include auto-loot. Items are flowing into the inventory. The loot is a level 25 sword with some ridiculous stats. They say it's impossible to have such a legendary item at the start of the game. Suddenly a message appears on the screen, "Enable Hate Raid?" This ability is used to recover items stolen from you. Ha, it turns out our guy hasn't even unlocked the skill yet. Use this skill against the thief who stole our monster's sword. Still, he draws the sword and thinks for a moment, he's reached level 8. Maybe his stats dropped, or maybe it's because of that title of absolute power. Either way, as soon as he takes the sword, his commander's skills are unlocked. He's activating the flag of courage right away. This way, even if it loses its meaning, it gains an ever-increasing running pace. The only problem is his only attack move is the lion slash, and he can only use it 3 times in a row. But since it can't hurt them, it's impossible to leave any real damage. So he uses the ability to escape and flies down the stairs. But those damn creatures are clinging on like leeches. This game is seriously challenging. Hiding with a fake jump, looking sadly at the sword in hand. He knows that piece of metal is the only reason he's still breathing. The strange thing is, he had seen this item in the game before. But this version is many times stronger. The bad news is hate tracking will kick in soon, letting the monsters find them with ease. The whole train is swarming with shadows, as if straight out of Sung Jinwoo's world. He realizes this situation is crazy. The difficulty level wasn't even this brutal in the game. Suddenly, he spots a stone. You know, like those stones that show the respawn points in the game. But for some reason, monsters are spawning there instead of players. Which is very strange, because it should have been the player's place. That's when it clicks. Monsters have human abilities. They drop items and respawn. Turns out, this isn't a game where people hunt monsters. It was the opposite. This is a terrible situation. Because it means the creatures can respawn forever. Now he's going to see what a monster's life is like. Even if you kill a player, you'll have to watch them come back hundreds of times. Accepting this truth, he decides he has no intention of just standing there and dying. After all, the best luck here is on his side. No one knows this game better than him. Even if the enemy is like an immortal player, while he has only one life, he vows to survive. As he goes down the stairs, his eyes look for the worm dungeon. It leads right to the C-class zone just ahead. The perfect place to start the game. Because he knows exactly how to go down into those depths and get the job done. Face the boss? The real question is whether that cheap trick from the game will actually work in this hell. Otherwise he'll have to headbutt that giant creature, and his chances of winning are a big fat zero. But that night mob chasing you is worse than any scarecrow. The game's gone mad, and the rules are flipped. Can running for his life, trying to pull away and farm the dungeon in peace, but things go sideways during the escape. And then a whole army of worms started chasing him. Just as he thinks he's caught and finished, he spots a way out. With that famous line cut again, he throws himself into a tiny hole. Inside, the tears of the pharaoh await him. A single drop falls, and their stats increase by 0.001. And that is when the pharaoh's trial begins. The creature's power is coursing through his veins, just like in the game. One drop every 5 seconds and only one stat point every 100 seconds. If he just stands there like an idiot for 3 days, he'll pocket 50 points. It makes sense for the game, of course. While everyone else is struggling to level up, you just wait in the corner. Though with the monsters out there, people aren't leveling up, they're probably getting ripped in half. In fact, people have already started to fall apart. While Shizuya wonders who these memories belong to, a new image flashes into his mind. That first girl who died on the train feels like she's taken a massive debuff to her mental health. Yet another one of those disgusting differences between games and reality. Then a voice calls out to Shizuya. His friends are smiling, but suddenly they turn into piles of twisted corpses, screaming that he's too late. Waking up in a cold sweat, it was all part of the Pharaoh's test. The psychic attacks intensify as the drops fall. He shouldn't obsess over stats, he needs to stay calm. 2 days have already passed. It just has to last one more day. But what is that? A sharp pain in your chest. When he turns around, he sees one of those soldiers. Or is it the end of the road? This is as far as it goes. How can an ordinary person defeat a monster with player traits that resurrects endlessly? Impossible. Maybe it's time to give up. Humanity cannot withstand this nightmare. They'll be crushed like bugs. But no. He's the strongest player on that server. They won't be beaten by 3 to 5 entry-level MOBAs, even at a low level. He lets out a roar. And of course, it was all a mental attack. That's the exact moment Pharaoh recognizes him, and our hero merges with that species. It relaxes. His chest is perfectly fine. It was all a trick of your mind. Looks like the harvest is done here. It's time to head out. Since she's technically one of them now, the worms shouldn't touch her in theory. But a boss appears behind him. The creature is staring at him. Instead of attacking, it lays an egg on the ground. This is a worm essence. But ours is worried. What if there's a lollipop inside? Lately, wherever he sees an egg, cursed little girls keep popping out of it. Fortunately, it's just eggs this time. The kind he can eat to restore his health. Thank God. As soon as he leaves the dungeon, he notices the high-level creatures are gone. Only level 20 knights are left. Thanks to the time he spent inside, he's now level 25. With those extra stats on his sword, he'll eat them alive. He charges in with a lion-like cut, slicing through 3 or 4 of them like leeks in a single stroke. One lunges at him with a shield bash, but he slips past with a light dash. Suddenly, an OK buzzes. He steps aside, keeping the ability active even at the cost of burning his mana. A fire extinguisher explodes nearby. And he realizes that even if his level is high enough, he can't stay in this hell for long. There's no end to these creatures. Plus, they possess a certain organizational intelligence. Just as they think of this, someone bursting through the wall looms over them. And this time it's no dream, he lands a solid blow to her shoulder. He's backing off because his guard is down. That's when he notices what's in the monster's hand. A gateway stone. Another toy item is in play. The stone glows, and the creature's companions appear by its side. He's wounded and has nowhere to run. But once again, that giant worm comes to the rescue. Since it's now considered one of their own, the creatures protect it when it's attacked. Our guy is grateful, admitting he almost kicked the bucket. At least you still have that egg to restore your health. Right then, he sees the portal stone fall to the ground. Giving the order to the worms. Carry it and drive away at full speed. He needs a distraction to escape. And the worms dive into the tunnels, shredding any player in their path. He reaches level 17 by killing monsters and collects new weapons. These have no class restrictions. How nice. Probably thanks to the absolute power title. He's running off because he knows the creatures will respawn just like players. Evacuation signs are everywhere outside the city. And everyone is screaming at the top of their lungs to run from those creatures. The place is total chaos. While a poor mother and her child tremble, an armored knight and his giant beast level the area with a huge cannonball. And of course those, respectable, citizens of ours take this chaos as a chance to start looting the shops. Meanwhile, in a restaurant where people are emptying the registers, there's a strange girl wearing headphones, humming to herself. He even tries to go and pay the bill. I seriously doubt she's in her right mind because she's drifting across the street with her phone in her hand. It's like he's complaining because the internet is down, not because the world is ending. Hey, look behind you, a giant monster is standing right there. As the crazy woman walks around shaking her headphones, someone suddenly grabs her arm and rips them off her head. He pins the girl against the wall and gestures for her to be quiet. But when a monster passes right under his nose, he realizes a total massacre is happening in the city. But a level 25 shadow assassin spots them and pounces. The guy in the hoodie is trying to play hero, but the creature is closing the distance with a triple jump and is about to grab his throat. The guy's screaming at the girl to watch out. By the time the girl turns around, our hero has already blocked the attack. Look at that, Shizuya himself delivers a deep cut to the creature's arm. The monster leaps back, firing shots and forcing him onto the defensive. These enemies are a real pain, they're seriously making me sweat. Even for a top player like Shizuya, taking these down is no child's play. While the creature hits the ground to dodge the sword, our cursed TikTok queen is busy filming a video. The man tells her to stop acting stupid and tries to drag her away by the arm. And he keeps grumbling on the other hand. He's telling him to his face that he's an idiot who doesn't understand the situation they're in. But the girl is quite relaxed and claims they won't attack her. The guy was shocked, but she says it's no big deal and brushes it off. When he asks about the man's tattoo later, Shizuya tells him what happened. When he took a weapon from those creatures, he found their power within himself. Now he's trying to figure out why he gained this cursed talent. A while later, they climb a mountain on the other side of the city. I still have no idea why you saved this virtual girl, but let's go. The girl is impressed by the view. Ours knows the whole route by heart. The truth is, this city's layout is oddly identical to the game's starting map. The game was probably modeled after real life. When the girl asks why they came to such an abandoned place, the man tells her to leave him alone. Just two weird guys. The man dragged her to save her. Now the girl's following him, and they're fighting. She wants him to use her name. Kokomi says she's a drinker and tagging along because this adventure looks like fun. Just then, the man's foot passes through an invisible barrier, and he discovers a secret cave. The girl inside wonders what's going on. The air inside feels eerie, but the guy tells the girl to shut up. At the far end of the tunnel, lights shine like a star cluster. No, looking closely, it's clear these are muzzle flashes. Luckily, they aren't shooting at him. They're raining bullets on the monsters ahead. Enemy heavy shields in front, healers in the back. Basically, it's a hunting party. But this time, the hunters are the monsters themselves, and our main character behind them feels relieved to see these enemies are only level 18 and just beginners. Maybe he can clear them all while they're distracted. It demands internal caution while moving forward. The hunters think he's one of the monsters and immediately open fire on him. But he uses that lion leap ability to land behind them and cuts down the healer in one move. The tank and the other creature in front turn to him instantly. The shielded one tries to attack, but ours leaps out of the way. This move leaves the healer vulnerable, and they're taken down in seconds. The monsters turn to each other and form a barrier, but it is instantly shattered. When the barrier falls, people can no longer see the creatures. Shizuyu steps in and says the monsters are retreating, so there's no need to waste ammo. Seriously? Why did you let them escape? Didn't you come here to kill them? Right then, the woman he just saved points her gun at him. Ichijo jumps in, shouting not to shoot, that the man is definitely human and saved him. The soldiers glance at each other, and say they'll talk inside.
Yeah.
Deep inside the cave, a group of exhausted people are crawling on the ground. The only one who seems cheerful is Ichijo, which is extremely suspicious. The soldiers say they were on a mission but got chased by monsters and trapped here. The main character says protecting this many people is madness. This is an impossible mission. The woman admits she can't kill every monster alone. But they won't let the man leave either. Because this is one of those starter dungeons you have to finish. No getting out of here without cleaning up. The boss here is a level 15 twin pair. They don't look scary at first glance. But the problem is, the man is incredibly resilient, and the woman's shots are lethally accurate. Upon hearing these, the main character gets a headache. Because the pieces are finally falling into place. Everything in the game has leaked into reality, and now the roles have swapped. The monsters are actually the players themselves, and they are here to destroy humanity in the name of justice. That's exactly what the man doesn't understand. This is the proof of why this sick game existed from the very beginning. Soldiers are lining up soda cans on the ground to sense the approaching danger. The moment a creature steps on those boxes, they know death is at the door. Our town drunk Joe says he'll go take a look when the soldiers start the evacuation. He peeks out from behind a rock, but the scene he sees is not pleasant at all. 5 threats are coming at them in an organized way. Worst of all, these creatures move with military discipline. Our main character says now that the civilian evacuation is over, it's time to put on a show. Enemies are level 20 to 25, so they're a fair match. The archer lights up the room by firing an arrow into the ceiling. Ours charges toward the front lines with suicidal speed, saying, "Take care of the ones behind me, I'll handle the rest." A shielded tank is in your sights, but it's not going to be that easy. That ugly mage in the front is turning the place into hell by blasting 3 fireballs in a row. Ours has to dodge like they're dancing, getting right under the shield and slipping behind them with that famous jump technique. The soldiers keep firing, and he takes down his first target as smooth as silk. For an experienced player like him, these basic monsters are a total piece of cake. The archer fires an arrow that seems easy to dodge, but things change when it starts curving in midair. Turns out it was a guided shot. Looks like that archer is the only one in this freak show who actually knows how to act. Suddenly, an explosion erupts inside the cave, and chaos breaks out. The soldiers keep firing and ask if our guy is okay. He says he's fine, but there's a dark detail bothering him. These monsters get more cunning as the battle drags on. Striking the wizard again, he realizes the painful truth. Just like the players, these creatures learn and evolve. What's even more frustrating is that the mage he's trying to kill is instantly healed by the woman in the back. Even in the monster world, a healer woman appears. I can't believe how cliché this is. Shizuya wants to close the gap, but their defense is rock solid. The archer is constantly protecting the healer. The only way is for the soldiers to create an opening for him. But just as he's thinking that, the tank slams its shield into his face and pins him to the wall. If even the number 1 player is getting beaten like this, the rest of the world is probably already history. Seeing his own blood, our hero considers using his soldiers as bait to surprise the enemy and win. After all, if this were a game, everyone would respawn and no one would show any mercy. But this is real life, the dead don't come back. Meanwhile, at the evacuation area, Ichijo hands a little girl a lollipop and tells her to stop crying, or she'll get all wrinkled and ugly. Then he tactlessly asks where the girl's parents are. But the boy says in a cold voice that they're monster bait. Bullets are flying across the battlefield, but our boy just can't reach the rear lines. Saying he'll try one last time, he activates the Courage Banner skill, burns his mana, and charges forward. But when he sees the POW coming his way, he quietly apologizes. At the same time, the little girl asks if the Ichijoya soldiers will die. Shizu dodges the arrow, and the ricocheting blade hits the soldier behind right in the chest. While the woman beside him freezes in shock, Shizuya says he unfortunately must sacrifice someone to defeat this player-type enemy. He knows the game's logic. They share a bond system, and if that bond breaks, they lose focus and scatter. The woman screams for the man who was shot, but Shizuya says there's no time to mourn. The woman drops to the ground, grabbing a gun and a bag full of dynamite. In a frenzy, he unloads his bullets and rains explosives onto the monsters. It literally looks like our guy turned on Sung Jinwoo mode, using people as bait to steal the final blow. As the smoke clears, the poor woman collapses to her knees, devastated by the loss of her husband or perhaps her lover. But suddenly, the man stands up coughing. It turns out Shizuya isn't that heartless after all. He's already calculated the situation. The Flag of Courage doesn't just provide speed. It also boosts the defense and health of nearby allies. He knew the guy could tank this shot. The man is confused. He looks at the dead monsters, unaware of what just happened. When the woman hits his chest with her elbow, something falls to the ground. He leans down and picks it up. This is a ring. Turns out the poor guy was planning to propose. Romance in the middle of the apocalypse? Now the woman's getting emotional. The man hugs her shyly. And Shizuya smiles faintly in the background. The strange blue-haired girl thanks everyone for surviving. Seeing this, Shizuya thinks that maybe humanity hasn't reached its end and they still have a chance to win. But that optimism vanishes 30 minutes later when a massive creature with bloody feet appears. In the next episode, a long-haired man firmly refuses to get involved in these events. He says he's not leaving, he only came here because everyone said the cave was safe. The soldiers are desperately begging for help. But no one has the guts to step forward. The black-haired woman says they need to get out of there immediately, as the tension in the room is razor-sharp. Because the creatures will keep coming without stopping. It's only a matter of time before everyone kicks the bucket. Shizuya steps in and confirms this horrific truth. He says the monsters will be back soon, and they'll be even stronger this time, like they've leveled up. The long-haired guy, however, immediately raises an objection. He's talking nonsense, saying if those creatures never stop, we might as well just drop dead right here. Then they turn around and start questioning with such nerve. Why do they have to trust someone whose powers look exactly like those disgusting monsters? Look at this guy's paranoia. Joe can't take it anymore and tells the guy to shut up. She's calling him ungrateful for insulting the man who saved his life. If he wants to stay, let him. Leave him to rot there like a stray dog. The soldiers are calling for everyone to stay calm. They say those who want to go should follow them, and those who are scared should stay inside and wait for support that will never come. The long-haired guy is scoffing again, claiming no one's leaving, that it's hell out there, and that everyone saw it. But then the shyest, cutest blonde girl in the group steps up and says she'll go with the soldiers. Strangely, this move inspires courage in that pack of cowards. Knowing the creatures will return, the group decides it's smarter to follow the girl than to just sit around here. Seeing everyone fall apart, that long-haired flake immediately backpedaled and said he had to come save them. Everyone's packing up and hitting the road in 5 minutes. On the way, Joe asks our main guy how he knew the monsters would be resurrected. Because nothing like this has ever happened before. Ours may shrug it off as a mere guess, but he's actually got other tricks up his sleeve. He's got 2 huge problems on his mind. First, if these creatures follow player logic, they'll just keep leveling up their stats. With the new equipment, they'll be completely invincible. Second and worse, until he breaks this cycle, they'll keep respawning and causing trouble forever. On the other hand, The creatures only need to kill humans once. Just like a player clearing a dungeon. Once is enough. In theory, this system is like a rigged game where people are never meant to win. A soldier notices Shizuya is annoyingly calm. It would be normal if he were a soldier too, but he's not. Yet even this soldier, despite his endless training, can't stop his hands from shaking because he's reached his limit both physically and mentally. Our hero asks why you are pushing yourself so hard. The answer is simple. If he doesn't push it, what other reason could there be for him to die? Shizuya tells him to drop the other burdens, saying his chances of survival would be much higher with just that woman than trying to save all these people. The soldier accepts this logic. But his conscience says he has no intention of doing it. Suddenly, they see the national emblem where the old logo used to be. Something is definitely approaching. Soldier, Shizuya told him that if things go south and they're alone, he should take the little girl and run. Hearing this, Ichijo asks if she is talking about the blonde girl, Kotana. The guy's saying the girl hangs out with Akina all the time now. No matter how tough an officer Akina is, she softens up for this little girl. It looks like Akina couldn't have children because of an illness she had when she was young. And just as the story turns emotional and warms our hearts, that cliché melodrama is suddenly pierced by an arrow. An Oki, out of nowhere. Just as Shizuya is about to warn everyone, hot blood splashes onto his face. Everyone's frozen in place. An arrow pierces that cute blonde girl's chest, and the poor thing collapses and dies right there. The woman closest to him screams and lunges toward Kotana. The others are running after them in a panic. They're begging him to calm down. They all remember very well how skilled the enemy archer was. There's no way he'd miss his target and accidentally hit a child. So this shot serves a completely different purpose. The female soldier fires angrily toward the archer, screaming that she'll kill the bastard who murdered the child. As another man tries to hold him back, Shizuya shouts for them to get away. But at that moment, a dark shadow falls over them. Shizuya can't believe they forgot this. Stone golems? These were once allies of the player faction. Theoretically, in this world, they guarded dungeon entrances and kept enemies from escaping through the gates. But since they are no longer on the player's side, these massive giants have become their archenemies. And the giant golem lifts its foot. The poor people below are suddenly crushed into tomato paste and wiped out. One of the monsters approaches, absorbs the rest, and even earns a title. The title of Conqueror of the Secret Cave. Shizuya can't believe these vile creatures get dungeon rewards for killing them. They're literally farming XP. To these monsters, humans are no different from nameless creatures. They probably think the hate, the emotions, and everything else people feel is just game design scripted for the story. If those are the rules, Shizuya activates absolute power and absolute knowledge. The system is warning him. Now he'll be hunted by 2 players. For a full 7 days. But he doesn't stop, unlocking skill after skill, and now the number of players chasing him has risen to 4. Chaos begins. Our guy senses nearby loot, and those tank-like defense skills of the guards like a radar. That sneaky archer across the way moves like he's about to pull something dirty. But before he could even raise his hand, Shizuya blasts him in the face with a fireball, shouting, "Here's a gift!" Adam's a literal walking arsenal. He's got gear for every class, so he can cast spells like a mage too. And the poor archer gets split in half like a watermelon, guts flying everywhere. And Shizuya's towering over him like a psycho, demanding to know if he felt the pain of those he left behind deep in his bones. He can't stop and keeps on firing. It doesn't just flood his brain with loot, but also the traumatic memories of those 2 poor souls who just got crushed. As all this bloody legacy gathers in your body, it's time to leave the cave. One of the guys in the back asks, trembling, what was that freak we saw in there? What he meant was, of course, that mountain-like golem. At that moment, a ring shines on Shizuya's hand. He vows to carry Akina and Takuto's legacy on his shoulders like a curse. Whatever task they left unfinished, he'll be the one to take it on now. Staring straight at that massive beast, his analytical prowess. "Watch out, level 40 monster," a voice screams in his mind. The creature has 50% damage absorption. It's like you hit me and it only tickles. His IQ is smaller than his shoe size, but his temper is a disaster. Diving headfirst into this means digging your own grave. Dodging the golem's sledgehammer fist, he cranks up his rapid-fire ability. He's raining bullets down on that creature's ugly face. But what is that? When the smoke clears, the golem is literally smirking, not a single scratch. On top of that, it even shoots a laser like Godzilla at our guy. Shizuya escapes the monster again, but this crazy giant won't stop. He starts bombing surroundings at random. It's turning into a battlefield. Shizuya offers a prayer for the dead and deploys the shield gathered from the corpses, but it's all in vain. The shield tears like paper, and our guy goes flying through the air like a cannonball. Ishizuro yells from the sideline, "Watch out, kid!" The guy is already fighting for his life, and they're questioning why this evacuation is moving at a snail's pace. Things are falling apart. The golem moves in for the kill, while our guy has no health or energy left. Ishizuro steps forward like a hero, shouting for everyone to get back. And the big finale, the idiot trips and face plants hard. It's a joke, the golem just stops and turns around instead of attacking, like he's over it. Shizuya is in shock. Normally, these monsters should attack like rabid dogs once they catch a player's scent. Anyway, no time to question it. He quickly heals up and gets back in shape. He bumps himself up saying, "I gotta protect this pack of otakus," and jumps right into the golem's hand. Like playing Shadow of the Colossus, he starts climbing up the creature's arm. Even the mightiest beast has a soft spot, for sure. As soon as he reaches its back, he plunges his knife into the creature's spinal cord, right into the carotid artery. The golem swings its massive hand like it's swatting a fly. But ours escapes with an artistic flip. But then, what's this? Blinding light is bursting from everywhere. The monster enters berserk mode and goes wild. You think our guy finished the job and blew it up, but that's not how it really is. This explosion was actually an area skill that leveled the entire forest. And we see a mysterious knight watching this chaos from a distance, eating popcorn. So, who won the war? They don't show it, of course. May your enthusiasm wither away. The scene just cuts abruptly. We're in a helicopter, and it's already been 72 hours since the incident. The apocalypse they call the Shadow Invasion started long ago. A soldier steps on the creature's corpse on the ground and says, "It's dead." The other one covers their face as if they're about to gag. The soldier guesses these creatures might have committed suicide, but our gothic sister with the giant hammer immediately snaps at him to stop talking nonsense. He says only those two maniacs could have done this to these monsters. Just as the green-haired man starts to speak, he feels a cold breath on his neck and looks back. A knight big as a tower marches toward them. Instead of being scared, she's drooling, like, "Oh, is that an elite monster?" The woman is literally looking for trouble. "Pretty solid character, we'll have real fun with this," says the psycho. His poor friend turns to the monster and apologizes, saying, "Sorry man, once Satsuki gets fired up, there's no stopping him." Because the woman has already leapt at Godzilla, swinging her axe like a truck with no brakes. Right then, an arrow whizzes through the air. But the beast is so fast, he's like, "Not today, kid," and reacts instantly. In the blink of an eye, Satsuki hits the deck. The monster's blade is pressed against his friend's throat. The guy's in shock. This creature isn't a wimp like the others, it's a total killing machine. But just as the monster is about to behead him, it pauses. He turns his gaze toward the city, as if catching a more interesting scent. A massive explosion in the city lights up the sky. Satsuki, still on the ground, can't swallow his pride and attacks one last time, shouting, "You can't ignore me, damn it!" The scene shifts as his friend mutters that the monster may have finally found a tougher opponent. Our main guy's opening his eyes, but where? This isn't a battlefield, it's more like a nursery. Teddy bears everywhere, toys on the shelves. The place is way too cute and peaceful, it makes you suspicious. He's getting out of bed like a zombie. Look at that, his arms are all metal now, just like Full Metal Alchemist. He thinks that absolute power system turned him into a robot. Turns out he repaired himself using pieces of that golem. He opens the status screen and sees that he's copy-pasted that massive creature's skills right into his own. There's one skill in particular that's just hilarious. Revenge mode. When someone nearby kicks the bucket, our guy gets fired up and becomes even stronger. It's a total stroke of bad luck. He jumps up immediately because there's a question more important than the robotic arm. What hell did I land in, and why are these teddy bears looking at me? Suddenly, he caught the scent of food and the sound of someone singing like a braying donkey. The voice is so off-key she wants to cover her ears so her eardrums don't fail. There's a weird girl inside, and it seems like she doesn't know how to do a damn thing except crack eggs. He sees our guy and shouts, "Whoa, hold it right there, champ!" She says breakfast will be ready soon, but he's still in shock. It's like doomsday out there. This girl's acting all peaceful, like she's already retired. Is he out of his mind? Open the window and you'll see the end of the world. The city is in ruins, people are fighting for their lives. And this one's playing house inside. But wait, this girl isn't normal. Probably a player from the world of monsters. Because when they met before, that green cursor meaning friend was shining over his head. The girl puts a piece of burnt toast in front of him. Ours looks great, out of courtesy, thanks for the effort. But when I said I'd pass, she just burst out laughing. Don't you lie to me. He says he knows this tastes like rubber, too. Luckily, he hoarded a week's worth of cup noodles behind the pantry. Otherwise they'll starve to death with this incompetent person. Our guy opens his eyes and says, "Where the hell am I?" When asked, she looks as if she's giving the most obvious answer in the world. Turns out when our boy fainted, the girl found a wheelbarrow and dragged him up the stairs to the house. Total romance. Finally, the penny drops for Shizuya. There's something strange about this girl, folks. The world's ending, but she doesn't have a gram of stress or a shred of fear. It's like the soul's been ripped out. It's like he doesn't even care if he's killed. He's acting so chill, as if to say he tried but didn't quite make it. A total maniac. The weird thing is, those flesh-eating monsters are completely ignoring this girl. It's a bloodbath, everyone's been butchered, but this girl is untouchable. It's like she's invisible to the creatures. He even threw rocks at them to get their attention, but the monsters were like, "What's this?" and didn't even care. Ours starts thinking like a gamer right away, of course. He's asking if you have a cheat skill or a floating status screen like I do. When she says it's not like that, he suddenly gets fired up and decides to lay all his cards on the table. The moment he draws his weapons, he starts explaining everything. He thinks her powers are linked to that cursed game called Azure. The girl's explaining the mechanics and the system, but who's she kidding? The girl's brain is glitching, she clearly doesn't understand a thing. All he knows is that his survival rate has skyrocketed, like he's using an immortality cheat. What a beautiful world. Ignoring those blank stares, Shirzue focuses on the main issue, humanity's inevitable and bitter end, that great catastrophe. It says they need to go to Rinkai City, then to a place called Kaijo. They had valuable allies there, meaning well-connected acquaintances. Ours is worrying about his men's safety. The girl takes a look and says, "In that case, I'm following you like a sitting duck." Our guy objects immediately. "Stay on your own. If you're with me, your chances of dying go up." He's politely telling me not to be a nuisance. But the girl just slumps at the table, like I'd do anything but I don't know what to do. It's a total existential crisis, isn't it? Besides, our boy isn't the type to die easily. Right in the middle of this emotional net, that ominous, tension-filled clicking comes from the door. It sounds like someone's picking the lock. Instead of taking a battle stance, our naive girl runs to the bedroom like she's playing hide-and-seek. It's like a joke. Shizuya lets the milk in and wraps a cool bandage around that monster arm. It's a total lead role move, ready to take the stage. When he opens the door, he finds 3 uninvited guests. The one in the hat immediately starts backpedaling, saying they didn't think anyone was inside and apologizing. Shizuya says it's okay, just relax. Yuya pretends to realize they're just innocent people trying to survive. If you fall for it, but of course you don't miss a thing. The guy is hiding a small weapon behind his back like a creep. Suddenly, that blonde guy steps forward. They're playing the victim, saying they're fleeing monsters and looking for a safe haven. They're in need of help, the classic lies. It's pouring like crazy outside. With a confident tone, Shizuya sets the trap, saying, "You're too kind, don't hesitate." He tells them the lie to make themselves at home and heads to the bedroom on the pretext of getting drinks. He's literally a wolf in sheep's clothing. Meanwhile, Joe hears them whispering, and one of them tries to scout the house on the pretext of using the bathroom. While Shizuya serves the drinks, the blonde guy comments on the bandage on his arm. Ours is spinning some lie about falling while running from monsters. It shows how hard things are in this hell. If you're the hat type, it must be hard cutting everyone off and living alone. He's drooling at the thought of all this loot. Shizuya is a cautious man, of course. Who would have thought stocking all those instant noodles would save lives one day? Then he asks what your plan is in this madhouse. They're starting to show their intentions. The one in the hat spills the beans and reveals his sinister plans. They're looking for a safe place full of supplies. What a coincidence, it's just like Shizuya. What great luck, huh? Shizuya says 4 people is a tight squeeze, but the man smirks and says if one person leaves, it'll be a perfect fit. The bastard's up to no good. That's the moment he realizes he made the mistake of his life. Shizuya's arm suddenly mutates and tears through the steel ahead like paper. The other one tries to reach for his gun but gets a solid kick from Ice's Oda. Another one's trying to sneak up from behind, how naive. But with the knife in his throat, he's barely gasping for air. And that blonde, shameless jerk still has the nerve to ask if we set a trap for them. Shizuya said coldly, "You're out of luck." He says, "I'm a monster now." That's a total anti-hero line, I love it. He crushes the man's gun with his bare hand and says they'll pay for breaking into this house with their lives. The moment of reckoning has arrived. But suddenly a voice shouts, "Stop!" He looks back and sees that those cool threats are now worthless. The cold edge of the blade pressed against his neck. The attacker threatens to slaughter the girl without mercy if you move. Shizuya realizes what a fool he was to think she was safe just because the monsters weren't attacking her. He hadn't accounted for the most dangerous creature. When the world collapsed, he forgot that the real monster was man. Tensions flare as you tremble with the desire to kill. The woman holding the record is trembling with fear. They thought they'd just find some loot. They didn't expect to face a beast-like psychopath. They were shocked to see a transformed arm, of course. Shizuya decides to pretend he's negotiating to save the situation. He says let's exchange the hostages. But the woman is stubborn, saying she'll take the hostage and leave. Look at that greed. On top of that, he wants 3 boxes of supplies. But before he can finish, he's cut off by something sharp bursting through his chest. Shizuya immediately pulls Joyu inside. At first, you probably think it's some 200 IQ move Shizuya made, right? But no. A level 41 noble enters the stage and officially splits the woman in half, Azure style. Shock after shock. When a monster dies, it doesn't just drop loot, it turns into a death machine filled with pure hatred. In this mode, if he gets his revenge, he'll claw back everything he lost. Or is this freak some kind of cursed golem? What is this monster doing here? Anyway, while Shizuya's turned our immortal blondie into mush, inside, Joya's screaming to back off, but Mike just charges at Shizuya like a brainless tank. Let's be honest, I was expecting a cool move or a dodge. But no, the moment he raised his shield, he was swatted like a fly and flung off the building. Even while gliding, that freak won't leave you alone. He was ruthlessly continuing his combo. He forms a weapon with quick mana manipulation and fires, but the monster dodges it in Matrix mode. As Shizuya hits the ground and slides, with the creature right behind him, he dives back into that damn building and starts climbing the stairs. That single block he just tried left him with bone-aching damage. Stopped on the 2nd floor out of breath, trying to fill up his health bar even just a bit. He combines every piece of junk in his inventory with his skills and items, but against this elite-level boss, he's still nothing. The creature spreads a suffocating dark aura as it climbs the stairs. It literally smells like death. Shizuya activates his weapon and rains down bullets, but the monster doesn't even care about these buzzes. He keeps walking like a Terminator. A critical shot right at the moment of defense. Shizuya appears behind like a shadow and lands a clean hit. But the result is a big fat 0. He dodges the counterattack at the last second, slithering away like a snake. He backs away and keeps shooting, starting to exploit the game's broken mechanics. Maps are drawn with 2-dimensional logic. So when Shizuya's upstairs, this stupid AI can never tell if he's on the floor or the ceiling. He only knows she's nearby. The monster keeps climbing until it steps into the gasoline lake. Shizuya appears with a smirk and throws the fireball. Give him credit, he's pressing every button. 3 floors at once are consumed by hellfire, and he keeps squeezing. But after all those explosions, the monster calmly walks out from within the flames. Because they keep getting healed from the outside. His partner gives him life. Shizuya keeps climbing and putting on the pressure. Luckily, this freak is as slow as a turtle. He realizes that legendary victory on the train was just luck, won only because the enemy knew his abilities. He bit off more than he could chew, thinking he could stand up to this thing. Suddenly, a flash of lightning in the sky sparks an idea in his mind. As you dash for the door, the smoker's waiting outside, holding a knife like a toothpick. Poor thing thinks he can help. He figures Shizuya is getting beat up inside from the loud thuds in the building. And at that moment, he notices a strange monster. This thing emitting green energy must be affecting the battle. But what can he do? He spots a parked car. He jumps behind the wheel, shifts into gear. He locks his eyes on the victim and hits the gas. Since this little creature is technically a player, theoretically, he deserves to be teleported to another world by that famous truck crash. Meanwhile, Shizuya makes his final stand on the roof. The boss is waiting. But whatever is coming glows with a massive power-up. Shizuya sighs. It says you're surrounded, unfortunately. The boss attacks with a roar. Shizuya says, come here. But strangely, he's not the only one in the crosshairs. Damn it. Another creature with a bow takes aim from the shadows. And finally, another player enters the stage. Ms. Satsuki, who are you trying to flex on? He slams his weapon into that archer's head like crazy. The bow slips from his hand, but there's not even a scratch on the creature. Is it just me, or is the health bar of these mobs broken? Satsuki is challenging him to a duel. If you took the first hit, you'll take the second one too. But the monster flees PvP and jumps off the building. With those hooks, it's a total Batman escape, gliding over to the next building. Satsuki is cursing behind his back. He's shouting, "Don't you have any fighting spirit, you loser?" And he admits he's jealous of that cool fight in the other building. Yet that war is definitely a one-sided massacre. Shizuya is just trying to survive. Every now and then, it strikes desperately and runs. I spoke too soon. He lands a knife twist, but the creature regenerates in seconds. It's like a joke. It's all because of that broken ability called synchronized breathing. It creates an unbreakable spiritual link between the mage and the target. And as long as that connection stays, this monster is in immortality mode. He's attacking again, without even giving us a chance to rest. Shizuya knows that as long as that healer is still breathing, taking down this raid boss is impossible. But just as that final blow is about to land, he feels that mystic bond between them snap. What did he see when he looked down? That priest-like creature ended up toasted on a car hood. Who's the one doing it? Of course he's a drinker. After stunning the monster, he scratches his head in confusion. Even funnier, he realizes the creature has no intention of attacking him. So, it's okay to crush them one more time. Just as I'm about to floor it, an Oki flies buzzing past. And it stabs hard into the beast's chest. When he looks back, he sees that previous hunter. The man respected a civilian getting involved in the war. Still, he sternly warns the girl not to poke her nose in, or she'll end up 6 feet under. Meanwhile, on the top floor, our main man is pulling back. With a quick move, he dodges the attack. But this monster is so clingy. Aslan lunges again with his claws, pinning ours into a corner. The opponent is no brainless creature. He tries the same move as before, but takes a bone-crushing kick to the spine in return. He stumbles violently. He almost flew off the roof and turned into a pancake. Even if you've already noticed how fast these freakish creatures adapt, they still catch you off guard. This isn't like games that glitch out. The longer humanity stalls, the harder it'll be to take these enemies down. The beast comes charging again, drooling, but Shizuya's sly smirk shows he knows he has a chance to win. Right at that moment, thunder rolls and a bolt of lightning strikes the top of the building, hitting the creature right on its head and making it smoke. The creature called Assel gets distorted and paralyzed. His sword falls from his hand as his face hits the asphalt and kisses the ground. Shizuya is literally mocking the fact that this creature doesn't know the boss mechanics. This time, the world's cruel rules won. Rules the creature is unaware of. So did our guy use a secret technique or a cheating skill? No, it's completely elementary school physics. The city's tallest metal point pulled the lightning to it like a conductor. He goes to him and admits it wasn't a better plan, just that he got lucky that day. Enemy metal, high building, and to top it off, it's raining. That's a player's life for you. Take the risk, get the loot. A sword thrust between the ribs finishes the job. Level 41, Noble dead, but strangely it doesn't turn to dust like the others. The corpse remains. The scene changes. Someone asks if all this blood wasn't enough. The nearby walls begin to crack, and whoever is hiding is told to come out. If they're so eager to kill people, that is. The wall is exploding. Satsuki's in hunter mode, chasing her target, and yelling, "Don't run, get back here." But right then, a tile comes whizzing toward her face, and she barely dodges it. Tired of the traps, he shouts at the boy. The archer has already bolted to plan his next move when a call comes in from the green-haired man. They say the creature beside them is retreating strangely, acting as if it just received an order. On top of that, their leader ordered everyone to gather. As eager as he is to kill the creature, orders are orders. Ichijo notices these guys use a strange power quite different from Shizuya's. And judging by the way they talk, they've formed a team like an organized crime group. But right now, what matters is how our main man is doing. As the girl runs toward the building, an eerie red bird watches her. The episode opens with the update. It's been exactly 102 hours since the shadow invasion began. The helicopters are coming for a so-called rescue mission. But let's be clear from the start, they definitely won't be able to get everyone out of there. One of the soldiers sees movement on the roof, and they're approaching. When they land, our boy and his worn-out sidekick are waiting there. Ichijo lunges forward with an energy blast, but the soldier. He gets upset when he realizes they aren't the special duo they're looking for. Ours says right away he knows the guy was looking for people named Takuto Okamoto and Akina Komodo. I'm wondering what's up with these names, but I guess the screenwriter will explain it later. Let's move on for now. He blurted out that those two went to rescue refugees and fought side by side with them. He says he heard it on the radio. Yeah, right. The pilot shakes his head. He says there's no good news since yesterday, and that it's turned into a bloodbath. They need to throw these two in a safe place. They have a mission to take care of nearby. When Shizu asks about the mission, the man says it's not a secret, and he can explain it. As Shizuya predicted, Kaijo City was the bloodiest front in the war against the shadows. Shizuya finds it strange that the soldier calls these creatures shadows. Because that's exactly the name the system showed him. Or are there other players with access to the admin panel? Without a second thought, she asks the man to take her too, right into that hell in Kaijo. Even though the man warns him it's a slaughterhouse, Shizuya shoots him a sharp look and says he can help. The man is puzzled but curious about what to do there. Shizuya is lying about having very important friends he needs to save in that city. And besides, she can take care of herself. The man accepts the offer. Then Ichijo asks if these friends are truly that important, and if he would risk his life for them. It must be about a girl. Our guy is confessing. The girl lives in Kaijo. The other friends probably went there too. Ichijo is having a jealous fit, acting out and wishing he had that many friends too. Then she says she's sleepy and collapses onto the kid's shoulder. The moment Shizuya closes his eyes to relax, a violent jolt wakes him up. The pilot shouts they're closing in on the target, but they're under fire. Looking out the window, Shizuya sees missiles pounding the city, but strangely, there are no monsters in sight. Soldiers and tanks are firing on the ground when a magic circle suddenly appears beneath them, skewering them all into mincemeat. Looking up from below, Shizuya immediately spots those creeps pretending to be players. When the roof-mounted missile launchers fire, the whole place turns into a total festival. The building's blowing up, target destroyed, fine, but the real problem starts now. A massive dragon enters the scene. Looking like it jumped straight out of a Yu-Gi-Oh deck, this creature snaps at the helicopter and an explosion fills the screen. When the scene changes, a giant hand on the chessboard crushes the pawns. In the city center, that massive titan is charging, flattening everything in its path. With its roar, the window frame comes crashing down. Watching all this chaos, Shizuya came here for a completely different reason. He has a secret agenda he hasn't told anyone about. The first castle players had to take down in Aza was right here in this city. So this is a cursed land. It looks like the real chaos will erupt in the Great Tower. Helicopters in the sky are tearing apart like paper. A soldier gets fired up and shouts, "Don't underestimate humanity, we have heavy weapons." But it's all in vain. He's spraying the machine gun into thin air because the radar's dead and the targeting system's down. Shizuya hits them with a harsh truth. The enemy's got some kind of barrier. Says you need to aim manually. Human weapons are powerful, but they are tied to technology at the hip. The moment the signal is cut, those giant machines turn into a pile of junk. Shizuya is calling for Joya right now. There's no time to explain, he just says blow this whistle. I don't know if it's a translation error or if the text is just nonsense, but... The girl gets the point, but next thing she knows, she's jumping out of the helicopter. Ours literally just threw the girl down. Shizuya looks aside. The dragon is coming with its mouth wide open. Our guy pulls a knife and dives into the monster's stomach like a maniac. In that chaos, he turns to the terrified pilot and yells, "Run! Save yourself!" He doesn't even know what he's doing from the adrenaline. When he reactivates the banner of courage, he defies gravity and literally starts flying. The sky has turned into a total battlefield. Shizuya lands on the dragon's back and strikes with a lightning-infused blow. It's hard to change the course of the war alone, he knows that, but he has to land. But life isn't that easy. The dragon's tail whips his face and Shizuya gets tossed around like a volleyball. When 4 or 5 more dragons surround him, he starts getting crushed between their teeth. He's fading fast, the screen's about to go dark. With one last effort, he strikes and breaks free. Right then, Ichijo reaches out from atop a dragon and grabs his arm. "What are you doing here?" The girl is totally calm, saying she came to save you. The creatures, hearing the whistle, turn into angels and help the girl. Shizuya mocked the girl's talent, but let's face it, at a high level this power is broken. He literally found a game exploit. But the problem is, this creature she's riding doesn't see Shizuya as a friend, it sees her as a snack. Our protagonist knows the girl won't die because in the game, dragons have an ability called the Link of Wisdom. They catch the player as he falls. But this crazy dragon is doing a suicide dive, trying to crash into the building. He thinks he's taking Shizuya with him. Just as our guy pulls his sword to slice the monster, Ichijo says, "Wait, don't." The girl spoke to the dragon, saying not to worry, he saved me and won't hurt us. He's trying to persuade. Shizuya is in shock. In the game, monsters were just XP and loot, no one ever talked to them. But abnormal players like Ichijo are an even rarer case than our main character. The girl literally whispers to monsters. Finally, the dragon flips over the lake and drops them both into the water. Quick break to cool off. They're coming ashore like wet puppies. As the dragon disappears over the horizon, our two klutzes try to warm up. Would you believe they're lighting a campfire in the middle of the street instead of going inside? These guys are really asking for it. Ichijo is asking what we should do now. Shizuya summarizes the situation. The shadows have advanced too far. The Koto region has fallen. Realizing his friends are there, Ichijo jumps to his feet. Shizuya is determined to go to work. The girl said going there is suicide, but would he even listen? He says he can't leave them there because it's dangerous. Typical hero antics. Even if Shizuya tells her not to come, she sticks to him. He insists on coming along too. He's actually a perfect spy because the shadows don't attack him. Shizuya says it's madness, but the girl's strength could run out any moment. But Ichijo says no more excuses and drops the subject. Shizuya knows this plan is better. Ichijo wants a photo of your friends. Reluctantly, Shizuya pulls the group photo from 2 years ago out of his pocket. The group in the photo is posing for the camera. Back when everything was beautiful. There's a girl sitting in the corner looking like a rich brat. Heian Hitomi. Ichijo recognizes the girl right away. You know, that fairy-winged girl at the very beginning. Ichijo says he'll handle it, grabs the phone, and then lets out a whistle. The dragon lands like a taxi, she gets on and leaves. Let's face it, this plan is much smarter than just charging in blindly. If he charged head-on, he would have definitely died. In the next episode, the sky is clear, but knights are marching through the streets toward the army. It's total chaos out here. While the guns spit death, Commander. He gathers the soldiers and parks, calling them to play their last card. Snipers lie in wait to hunt the mages, but assassins slipping in from behind are ready to slit the throats of the unsuspecting soldiers. Right in the middle of that chaos, Shizuya bursts onto the scene, delivers a massive kick, and rewrites the rules of the game. He pulls out his gun and fires 5 to 6 shots, solving the problem for good. Then he immediately asks for the location of the command center. After getting the status report, wouldn't you know it, everything matches that damn game's script exactly. The army's main headquarters stands at that critical spot where you need to blow up the enemy base, and our guy just bolts without wasting a second. Theoretically, it's humanity's last bastion, and the brave souls who can stand up to these freakish creatures should be there. Of course, our boy is hiding the cards in his hand. Because it's hard to predict how an anomaly like himself will be received. It reaches the subway. The subway should still be running like clockwork since the monsters haven't hit that area yet. At least on paper. But the moment he hits the laser trap, machine guns pop up like jack-in-the-boxes and start spraying bullets without hesitation. He opens his shield just in time. He draws his gun and turns those piles of metal into scrap, but then a fully equipped squad swoops in, and our guy tells them to stay calm. He claims to be just an ordinary citizen, but the soldiers state the alarm only rings for monsters, meaning the system doesn't lie. So what's the deal with that damn experiment on your arm? Our hero is stunned. When did they develop the tech to detect shadows? It's only been a few days since the apocalypse, but with guns pointed at his face, he's in no mood for long stories. Even though he swears he's human, the soldiers aren't buying it, right as a strange noise catches his ear. Looking back, he sees enemy cavalry galloping toward them. The soldiers seize the moment and pull their triggers. As ours slips away, bullets riddle the incoming knights, and in that chaos, he notices a sneaky shadow escaping. Looks like that sneaky guy is also trying to catch the subway right as the train comes roaring onto the tracks. Ours makes a crazy move, jumps down and lands on the train roof to start surfing, while an incredible number of creature signals flash on the military screen. And the worst part is, those bastards have set an ambush at the next station. They've already locked their laser weapons onto ours and are waiting. Forced to put up his shield again, he tanks the damage, but now everyone's after him, not just the monsters. Even the people have turned against him. Life just isn't fair for this man. He takes cover behind a pillar, wondering how to get out of this hell. Escaping without harming someone innocent seemed impossible, but suddenly someone claps their hands, orders a ceasefire, and every soldier obeys like a robot. While our hero stands guard, a man comes out and says he's checking the system and the alarm is just a technical glitch. He is certain this person is an ally, not a shadow. When our guy sees him, it hits him like a bolt of lightning. So is this that legendary character? We don't know who it is yet, but the scene changes and says that 144 hours have passed. That's how long it's been since the shadow invasion began. We're now on that bloody front line at Ray's station. That blondie is asking if our boy would have slaughtered everyone right there if he hadn't intervened. Ours says his goal is just cooperation. The blonde man says he gets the situation and is interested in the boy's potential. After all, they tried everything to kill him but failed. But it's clear that in times of war, showing sincerity alone won't convince anyone. Just then, an old wolf enters and asks William if there's a problem. He's wondering if the brat next to you is part of the team too. William says calling her a team member would be a bit of an exaggeration. He adds that they didn't cause trouble and he's never even heard of this mysterious guy before today. He's only been here a few hours, so they're still in the flirting stage. The old man asks if our hero is a tank class. William says he finds the old man getting used to gaming terms funny, but the old guy is in no mood for jokes. He tells them sternly to stop messing around. The meeting is about to start, and they need to move now. When William agrees and asks how many people he'll bring, the old man gives a clear answer. Only 2 people. The scene shifts to a room, where William orders ours to strip off those rags, take a shower, and put on the clothes provided. It's impossible for him to meet the army dressed as a beggar. Our hero is about to object, but William cuts him off. He knows you want to exchange information and says he's more than ready to do so. Shizuya knows very well that the company William works for was founded 200 years ago and is one of the world's top 5 giants. Finance, technology, robotics, medicine, you name it. On top of that, they're the creators of that cursed VR game, Azure. While getting the clothes, Sam asks how much the group actually knows about this doomsday scenario. William admits he knows much less than thought, and that these shadows truly came from the change to overrun the world. Everything's in chaos. Shizuya fixates on his use of the term shadow, and William continues to speak cryptically. What names their men have given them, our boy doesn't even know why, but Shizuya is no fool of these types. He already figured out that you died before giving away a secret. He still wonders about the reason for the attack. Is all this fuss just because he's known as Shadow? William nods, but Shizuya is not at ease. It's only been a week since things started, and they've already set up a system to track everything. William looks at ours with pity. Turns out the kid was even more ignorant than he thought. The real apocalypse broke out 5 days ago, but beta testing actually started 2 weeks ago. Disaster is spreading from those cursed spots on the map, and every major organization in the world is caught in the rumor mill. Shizuya is in shock. He can't wrap his head around it. How could something like this be possible? How was Hulk put to sleep? William explains how they censor information as if he's reporting the weather. He says if people knew the truth, it wouldn't just be chaos, it would be pure hell. This answer leaves Shizuya even more confused. First, the army doesn't trust William one bit. Second, the man is hiding information. Third, he's aware of the shadows and is literally putting on a show. Shizuya can't take it anymore. If only you'd spoken up sooner. He's losing it because the body didn't turn up. William is being totally shameless. He's like, "You're right, but we just woke up. It only took 2 weeks from the first symptom to an all-out attack. And I thought they had more time to prepare, what a shame." Our main man opens the door and stands his ground. "Are you really going to save me as bodyguard? That cool team the army set up, you know, those superhuman types who can stand against the shadows." Of course, if he doesn't want to, no one's holding a gun to his head. Now it's our turn. Let's see him spill it for a change. But he's incredibly tight-lipped. It doesn't say anything substantial, other than having a connection to the Azure realm. And then there's this handle, of course. He turned into this after coming into contact with a monster's core. Such a pain in the neck. In the game, they called this a signal. William loves this name. She grabs the kid's arm right away. It's insane. The technology is something else. He's drooling at the thought of checking it out. This guy is definitely not normal. Fortunately, just then, a notification. He's saving ours. William has to go. But he says he's still going to talk in a threatening way. This guy is a superstar in both the East and the West, God bless. It's no lie to say his company runs half the world. A genius who built an empire at a young age. And the creator of the Azure realm. The situation is clear as day for Shizuya. It's in the developer's hands. There are secrets way dirtier than what you've told. He can't let his guard down for even a second. In the next scene, we learn that the invasions are global. But that's what the shadows really care about. It's a place called the Misty Region. The other attacks are just diversions, cheap tricks to scatter the enemy forces. The monster's plan is a work of military genius. They want to strike like a sledgehammer when the enemy is at their weakest. For now, they've saved the situation by placing snipers on the city's hills and river crossings. They've slowed down the invasion a bit. These strategic moves are the only reason they've been able to hold the front line. That's how the first attack in the Misty region was repelled. Now they're strengthening defenses, gathering soldiers, and watching the shadows' movements. This commander inspires both hatred and admiration in me. It's a strange feeling. The idea is top-notch, but sometimes the app fails. Still, the plan's foundation is solid, credit where credit's due. Right then, William raises his hand and intervenes. It looks like it's no big deal, but the question he asks sends a chill through the room. "Can any of you raise the dead?" Everyone's in shock, yet he stays calm. Of course not, but he says shadows can do it. Based on the analysis, there are 2 critical issues. First is that damn armor covering their bodies. Normal bullets feel like mosquito bites. Even worse, breaking the armor isn't enough. Because it hides an energy circuit that is the actual core. It's like a boss battle. According to the guy next to you, this is called a signal. They're using the signal's properties to absorb matter and repair the armor. So as you can see, even if you shatter the armor to pieces, as long as the signal holds, they're reinventing themselves. Oh, isn't it? The guy with purple hair jumps right in. He says information is all well and good. We're here to talk strategy. She's snapping because it's not for science class. And frankly, he's being a bit stupid. Because how can you strategize without knowing your enemy? Our boy turns around and explains what the blonde meant. It says shadows cannot be classified by human logic. Methods that kill people. It won't work on these creatures. I'm just wondering. Like catching and imprisoning them instead of killing them. Are they making a crazy plan? Trapping the revived creature would be a 200 IQ move. Wait a second. They need to imprison them and prevent them from committing suicide. Okay, I've strayed way off topic and my brain is fried again. Back to the story. The old enemy has accepted that even if they outnumber us 1,000 to 1, the truth won't change. With these creatures constantly respawning, it's only a matter of time before they lose this war of attrition. The blonde boy argues that they should use their speed advantage. They should play their soldier card right away. Time is running against them. Every second favors the monsters and signals a disaster for humanity. Watching all this chaos, our lead thinks the blonde makes sense, but he can't silence that restless voice inside. The plan makes sense, yeah? But he can't shake the feeling that this blonde snake has a far darker agenda than meets the eye. Taking a look at the strategy, it clicks. These creatures' attack plan is exactly the same as the tower invasion in the game. There was only one rule to pass that part of the game. If you want to clear the dungeon, you've got to take the boss's head. And ours is a legend who took down that boss in record time and became the king of the server. Experience is speaking here. If the script is the same, it's not hard to predict the Shadow's next move. Right then, William talks about taking the initiative. He wants to destroy the Shadow's respawn points and drive them from these lands. Sounds heroic, doesn't it? But that sneaky smile on your face gives everything away. Our hero points to a building and asks what this place is. Purple-haired girl from the military. He says that's the Ritson headquarters. This information strikes our hero like a bolt of lightning. Could it be a mere coincidence that the Ritson building shares the exact same coordinates as that cursed Tower of Melancholy in the game? Especially considering the possibility that this company's president is the tower's boss, things are getting really messy. According to the game's scenario, the lightning demon should be there. The pieces are starting to merge. Our hero asks about the defense status and if there's any suspicious activity. But suddenly things get ugly. The blonde psychopath grabs ours by the collar, slams him against the wall, and orders him to shut his mouth. Not suspicious at all. Sure, we totally believe you, man. While ours is splattered against the wall, the old man approves the attack plan. It's like nobody even cares. The meeting's over. Dismissed. What? Is everyone leaving? Ours ends up alone in the room before even being able to open their mouth and object. The blonde is spewing her venom in the hallway again. He's treating our guy like an idiot because he didn't mention inside that they had to protect that thing. William takes a deep breath and reminds us that the link between gaming and reality hasn't been officially proven yet. If they went to the army and said they saw it in a video game, no one would mobilize troops based on two teenagers' words. Then he starts with that weird philosophy of his. He's talking about giving a fair chance to the 99% who don't know the game. We're dealing with a maniac who thinks he's doing people a favor by keeping secrets. Seems like he likes playing God. Shizuya is confused. He thinks only the army can protect the Ritson building. Innocent villager. With that creepy smirk, William says maybe it's not just the army. And right then, the sound of helicopters echoes through the sky. That famous hunter team, likely to die without achieving a thing, is making their entrance. It's cool, but it might be empty inside. At least our hero will get a chance to show off. Are these William's men? He's staring like I owe him rent. Grinning in the dim light like an anime villain plotting to destroy the world behind his family's back. Even looking at his face is chilling. You'd have to be blind not to see the pure evil in your eyes. He says these are the secret trump cards to protect Ritson. He thinks this group is far too small compared to the coming disaster. But the blonde warns not to underestimate them. According to their research, these guys' powers are similar to Shizu's. No way, did these guys find a cheat code? Our guy was number 1 in the game, and had been grinding since day 1. So, do these aftermarket types have the same power? He thinks maybe they're using the signal strength. William calls the team over for introductions. Below, it introduces Shizuka and says she's also one of the Oath-bearers. That must be a cool name for a skill. Our boy is watching the incoming group, but his eyes aren't on a strategic spot, they're fixed on a completely different detail. The girl on the left's underwear is showing. Even if the world ends, the male brain never changes its priorities. Incredible. William's asking about the mission status. The guy who looks like he's got a beaver in his mouth says everything's fine, except for some minor issues. When William asks for details, the captain admits Hashida let his guard down, and they were spotted much earlier than expected. Still, they got away without any losses. Looks like they got lucky. Red-haired Hashida is fuming because he was snitched on to the boss. Don't sell out your teammate right away. The guy's got a huge emblem on his back. He's trying to get the upper hand by saying only the boss can decide who's at fault. William silences everyone by shouting. He tells them they did a good job and sends them in to rest. A natural leader. But he doesn't fail to remind Hashida that there are plenty of men to replace him. So he's saying watch your step, kid. Saying they'll meet in an hour and waving, Hashida swears he'll make that snitch pay. Poor guy standing there, thinking leading a team is even harder than being a kindergarten teacher. Then, as he passes our boy, he gives him a look like he just saw the loan shark he owes. He stops and questions what the hell he's doing. While our MC stares like an idiot, the guy drops his mask and pulls the "Don't you recognize me?" act. Turns out this guy was Meiji. You know that loser healer in the first episode of the series at the top of the list? Ah, that's it. Putting on that fake smile, she mumbles about being surprised to see our boy in a dump like this, and tells how he fell. When mine says William dragged me here, Meiji's face drops. He must have found it hard that William liked this brat. He gets even more suspicious when he hears he's invited. Our boy's thoughts aren't exactly innocent, but Meiji says, never mind, and drops the subject. His main issue is why our guy is hanging out with them. It's a long story, let's find a quiet spot, he says, changing locations. The scene shifts to a strange bar with hearts on its sign and bouncers at the door. What the hell is this, a post-apocalyptic brothel? But unfortunately it's a total sausage party in there, full of men everywhere. Meiji tells how he barely escaped while drowning in the Omishiro Sea. Turns out William was his hero, and he's been following him like a leech ever since. Shizuya says, that's good, but thinks to himself, this guy's life is ruined and he doesn't even know it. Meiji ICR's Kagilarex Savap Verrier. Things are messy, man, he says, sips his beer, and drops the bombshell. That guy Hashida used to be the head captain. But things changed when that maniac slaughtered countless allies instead of enemies. Just a normal Monday, right? As a result, he was stripped of his rank and demoted to assistant captain. Our boy's done with the gossip and is after the real prize, how people awaken their powers. That's when the bitter truth hits us. Nobody's had a natural awakening or anything, guys. The whole thing was just a Sin group installing shadow tech and circuits into people's bodies. Straight up cyborg surgery. But it's not like the game, the character's vibe is like a dead battery. Because power is limited, you can't go around without a power bank. To top up your energy, you have to come right back to the sim. Shizuya's like, that makes sense, commenting on how they've got you on a leash. Then Psycho Hashida suddenly shows up. What are you guys chatting about with this outsider brat? Snapping like that, Meiji tries to ease the tension, saying, calm down, champ, William brought the kid here himself. But Hashida's circuits are frying. He starts bellowing, you're betraying the boss, you're betraying me. How so? Just because he talked behind his back, he calls the guy a sellout and threatens to go and spill everything. He's getting right up on ours. He's hissing, don't you dare eye that first mate's seat or I'll bet you. Meiji, meanwhile, is slapping his forehead in embarrassment. He thinks this idiot will ignore the boss's orders again and get us in trouble. Just then, someone walks into the bar. You know that hottie we spotted earlier, she's standing at the entrance just watching the chaos. He's asking the person next to him where everyone is. And he points his finger at the unfolding chaos. Hashida's calling Meiji a trash healer, shouting that he should be the leader because he's a magnificent damage mage. Complicated guy. Suddenly he breaks free from the men and hurls a fireball into the air. He's getting hyped up shouting, witness the power of the holy relic. While Meiji tries to restrain this hulking sorcerer, our main character wonders how such a lunatic survived. Finally, their father William steps in. Stop this nonsense, he roars. Hashida puts out the fireball in fear. William asks in a cold voice if you realize what you've done. Using abilities inside the military base means getting kicked out. But that crackpot Hashida is still rambling on about this kid being a spy. William doesn't argue, he gives that. Don't make me repeat myself. Look, and ends it. That kid's my friend.